Welcome to my kitchen. Last summer, my sister Jenny and her family went on a trip to Italy. What a wonderful place to vacation. That's something I've always wanted to do. She discovered this delightful sandwich in a little sidewalk cafe in Tuscany. She liked it so much, she talked the chef into giving her the recipe for me to share with you today. I call it Jenny's Basil Roma Panini, featuring just that, lots of fresh basil with garlic and Roma tomatoes on sourdough. It's just bursting with flavor and easy to make. So let's get started. We're going to start this recipe by making fresh pesto. You can certainly use prepared pesto, which is available in the produce section of the market, but there's no substitution for fresh. And it's so easy. I make extra and freeze it so I'll have it on hand when I need it. I start by roasting my pine nuts in just a little olive oil in a heated skillet till lightly browned. This really brings out the nutty flavor. Oh, I'm telling you, they are so good, and when they sizzle, they get nice and lightly browned. Just remember to cool them slightly before you make the pesto, or the basil wilts too fast, and I really haven't wanted to experiment on what it would do to my food processor. I have these ready, so I'm going to start by putting these right into my food processor. They're just nice and toasted lightly. Then I'm going to add 2 cloves of garlic that I've just peeled and quartered, and I'm going to put that together, get this lid on here, and pulse it for just a moment or two. I like to get those ground up before we add everything else. That's all it takes. Now, we're going to add some fresh packed basil, and I'm telling you, the smell of this has already got me going. I just love it. I want to talk to you about the basil leaves, okay? Basil comes like this. I have a display over here that I picked up at the market I wanted to show you. It's so easy to grow in your house. You can pick up these little 4-packs like this and pot them as a kitchen garden. You can get them in little blister packs like this in almost every grocery store. They have them like this. The way I love to buy them is in the live form. Look at these. Isn't this fun? This basil is actually a live product. It says live basil. Look at the back. You can see. It has the root attached, and it's got the water. It comes like that. It looks like a flour package, doesn't it? And all you do when you get home is change that water, and it will last several days in the refrigerator. Then you can just pick it when you want to use it. For this recipe, I just take a nice big handful, about 1 1/4 cups lightly packed, so we'll just add that in there and give it just a little bit more. There's really no right or wrong way to do this. You just kind of do it to your family's taste. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do 1/3 cup of Parmesan cheese. Now let's put that together, and here we go again. We're going to whirl it again. We'll get that down, and then we'll add our oil. Olive oil is really good. You want to use the extra virgin olive oil. You could add a pinch of sea salt. I always find that there's so much salt in our diet, we don't need to add extra, but if you really want to, that's okay. So we'll put this on and just swirl it up until it's really smooth and creamy. And that's it. Isn't this great? Now, I like mine a little bit chunky. If your family likes it really, really creamy, you can just blend it a little bit more. You could also do this in a blender if you didn't have a food processor. You can store this in an airtight container in the refrigerator for about a week or in the freezer for 6 months. I often double it because I like to have it around for last-minute meals, which is really good. Now for the panini. A lot of sandwiches aren't so healthy, but this one's the exception. Paninis are so much fun. Historically, they originated in Italy. Did you know that? They're really a grilled sandwich filled with meats and cheeses, and they're widely available in restaurants and sidewalk cafes. Now, by using a panini press, you get attractive grill marks. I want to show you a little bit about this panini press before we get the sandwich built. If you don't have one of these, don't worry, but I want to show you this. It looks like a waffle iron, doesn't it? When you open it up, it has these ridges, and this way it heats the sandwich from both sides, and you get those marks in it. But if you don't have one, not to worry. You can simply use a heavy bottom cast iron skillet, and then you would get the press marks on it by putting a brick wrapped in foil. I'll go over that with you in just a second, but let's build our sandwich for now. Okay, we are going to take a piece of sourdough bread and see if I can get out some of this fresh pesto. Oh my goodness. It's fantastic. The smell of it, look how bright green that is. That's just lovely. And the garlic, I can see the garlic. It probably doesn't show too well for you, but the little cloves of garlic are fantastic. So we've got that. Now what we're going to do is put on our mozzarella. The 3 pieces of mozzarella is about what this sandwich will take. And then we've got our tomato. Roma tomatoes give it such a lovely flavor. By using these ingredients, we're sticking to the foods in Richard's book, which is fantastic too. Okay, I've got that. Now, for my basil, what I want to do is a little secret here. I'm going to make a Noni Balsamic Vinaigrette, and then we're going to put that on our basil, so that'll be great. We'll just move our things over here. Give me a little bit more room. All right. Now, I have got some balsamic vinegar here. I'm going to take a little bit of my organic noni, just a tiny bit. See if I can get a little, like 1/4 teaspoon. There we go. And this is really going to be fun. I'll put that in my bowl. Then I'm just going to whisk in a little olive oil. I'm going to need some more oil, I can tell. I'm going to use some hazelnut. I've got that. Now, a little bit more oil. The smell is delicious. Something about the balsamic vinegar and the basil just drives me crazy. And the sourdough, it just smells so good. Oh, that's looking lovely. So what I'm going to do now is take some fresh basil leaves. You want about 8 to 10 basil leaves for this. We're just going to drizzle them in there. Put on the sandwich. A few more basil leaves. And then we'll go put them in our panini press. Put the top on, and off we go to our press. I have this set on medium, though when you do it at home, you'll have to just play with it and see how it works for you. So we'll put that on there. Now watch it just press down like that, and then that's all there is to it. You just let it go. So we'll move that over here. That's great. Now, while that's going, let's talk about the health benefits of this recipe. Garlic, as we've learned, is so beneficial for the cardiovascular system and for building immunity and fighting the yeast. Basil, especially the fresh, is especially high in antioxidants and a good source of dietary fiber. Tomatoes are also high in antioxidants, fiber, and minerals. The fresh mozzarella gives us protein and is high as calcium. But I want to make sure you get that fresh mozzarella, okay? Don't get the one that's in the little square packages. Get the fresh in the deli. Well, I tell you, this is so good. One thing that is really good, I got to tell you how we serve this, is with a cup of hot tomato soup. Let's look and see if I have this going. You know, we live in such a fast-paced world, don't we? We're all so busy. I am so glad that now there are prepared foods out there that are healthy. You don't have to make everything at home. I have some tomato soups that I brought to show you. You can see over here on both sides of me on my displays. I have these boxed tomato soups that I got at the health food store, which are very good for us. But if you want homemade, you can go to my website. I have a great recipe there for homemade soup. So I'm just going to stir the soup up and get ready to prepare it. That looks good. The tomato soup with the basil, with the sandwich, what's better than that? Well, let's check our panini and see if it's done yet. It's not quite done. It's going to take another moment or two. I tell you, it is just delicious, though. This is something the kids can do. When they come home from school, you can really make something, like a grilled cheese sandwich, but there's no wrong or right way to make a panini. You could pull out mushrooms, you could pull out peppers, a lot of different things. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and serve up the tomato soup for you. We'll get the panini out, and then we'll have lunch. I take a bowl just like this. Now, you know, one thing you could do in the summertime is just use a fruit salad, and that would be really good, too. We've got that. We've got a little fresh basil to put on it. And now let's get our sandwich out. Oh, it's looking good. Now, sourdough is really healthy, isn't it? I like using sourdough because it's on Richard's diet and it's healthy for us. We'll just cut that sandwich in half. Now I'll plate it. Oh man, doesn't that just look wonderful? And believe me, it tastes as great as it looks. Well, that's it for today. For a copy of this recipe, go to my website, healthycookingwithcindy.com, print it off and enjoy. Stay tuned. We'll be right back for more of your health.